and this is Heru Vision.
Okay, so we talk all the time about keeping our wavelengths and our energies. And we'll sit and say stuff like, oh, I don't like that person because it just makes me feel weird. And we shouldn't scoff that off because that's really real in the new dimension that we live in. What new dimension is that? Well, I often talk about the age of Aquarius. That's what we're in right now. So I start talking about that kind of stuff. It's amazing how even the knowledge of this, that if you don't mind yourself within it and to just let yourself go with it and don't stress over it, that you don't lose where you're at. You know what I'm saying? So just yesterday, I was sitting out with Ames and we're out going to store. We had to pick up some stuff. And I was talking about how people were on me and not giving me my own personal space and energy and stuff like that, just letting me get that to me. And I didn't realize that I was actually putting through the creative process of creating what was coming next. We go into this store, my favorite store. It's a pharmacy here in South Africa called Dischem. I love Dischem, absolutely love them. And you'll see the other video, if you haven't seen already, that talked about how they followed up and why I love them so much. And following the stuff that they do, you'll be able to make a really great brand for yourself. Okay, so I get in the line. Here they call it a queue. I get into the line, and the guy that was behind me is like right up behind me, and letting it get to me, and I'm focusing on it. I'm not focusing on the subject of the content of what we're talking about anymore. Aim and I, we're best friends, but we're not talking that anymore. I'm just focusing on the guy behind me because he's like really close behind me, and other predisposition thoughts that I have inside my head, that kind of stuff like that is flowing through my head. So I'm like, okay. So he gets behind me, and finally they they say the next person go to aisle 8, go to cash register 8. So till 8, I go. Boom. I go to till 8, and I'm sitting there, and I get past him, and I'm looking. I'm like, man. And he walks by, and I'm like that. And again, I'm raising up energy. So I go to the till. This has a very unique system that when you go to the cash register, people do not get right behind you in this pharmacy store. And so they call you individually, and there's another main line where you have to call from. So all that stuff happens. Okay, so I'm now coming, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to go stand there. I'm standing with Amy. They like, do you have your Dischem card, your rewards card? I say, yes, I do. I show them my Dischem card. And there's a woman that comes right with her cart, her trolley. She comes right, and she stands like right next to me, like right here. And she's on the phone. She's talking loud. So all the stuff that I had in my head, I have manifested all that stuff. I let this get to me so bad that I start the blame game. It's them. It's these people. It's external. Not focusing on the balance and the harmony between external and internal energies. And then I wind up leaving the store. I didn't take my wallet with me. All right, I wind up leaving the wallet behind, and I didn't have that wallet, and I was like, oh my gosh. By the time I realized that, I had come back, the store was closed, and I want to say this, to say really real quick, how much we focus on the creative process, all times of negative energy or positive energy, positive, negative, up and below, so is above, so is below, in the law of plenty, and that there's enough room and there's enough for everything. I forgot of these ancient laws, and that whether you forget of them or not, you're always in the process of creating and supporting these laws. Always. That's what we are. We're energy frequency. So whether you focus on that or not, don't stress over that. Just understand that you are always in the creative process, because everything that happens to you, good or bad, you are creating that. The universe doesn't know. The universal collective consciousness doesn't know the difference between what we say is good and what we say is bad. All it knows is where our prolonged thoughts are. That's the creative process, and that's what we're creating for ourselves. So ask yourself, what are you creating for yourself? There's an old, like not a poem, pretty much, but like a advice thing that says there are two wolves. One wolf feeds on negative energy, and the other one feeds on positive energy. All right, so you have to ask yourself, what are you feeding? It's a lot longer than that, but what are you feeding? What wolf are you feeding? And I say, what realities are you creating the next moment and the next moment, the next moment? What are you creating? Now, what I did tell you I was going to say is this. Why does it seem like when you hear all this that we create positive moments, negative moments over positive? Well, the reason why is that most of us are predispositioned. This entire system that we're living in, this worldwide matrix system that we're living in right now, that we've been living progressively for the last 2,000 years, meaning progressively or degressively, I should say, for the last 2,000 years, is predicated on negative energy. It was built and established on negative energy. So anything that is negative is going to be more prevalent in our lives, and we're going to see that because that's the thought that we've been trained to have more often. False evidence appearing real, aka fear, and so on and so forth. So all of this stuff, we start thinking about these things. Ask yourself, how often do you take a deep breath during the day? If I walked up to anybody around here and asked them, when's the last time you just stopped and took a deep breath? Took 5 deep breaths. They wouldn't be able to tell me because people don't. So we don't do the things that support and predicate positive flow of energy through our meridians and our chakras that flow up through our body, our power plant system. That's our spinal cord. It goes up through our power system. We don't take these deep breaths at all. When a woman is having a baby, what does she do? The doctor says to her, you need to learn how to breathe. Why? Because she needs to put that positive energy into her system so that she's creating life. So if we create a life for ourselves, there's no different for that. We have to breathe positively. We have to support and get over the positive, seemingly negative energy that's there. The system is here, but it's not more powerful than who we are because we're eternal and we're part of that system. We create our own reality. Well, that's it for today. Live, love, be, life, health, and strength, and always pay your blessings forward. I'm back, people. See you later.
Heru, what's next?